two research groups found that presidential hopeful Mitt Romney would get a tax windfall of around $5 million under his proposed tax plan. President Obama would save almost $100,000 in taxes with the Mitt Romney plan. And joining us now live is radio host and Democratic strategist Richard Fowler. Thank you very much. And political consultant and Republican strategist Jack Berkman. Thank you guys for joining us here. Let me start with this. It's almost comical because you like to do this in politics, compare who gets what and when. So under this 87-page new tax plan by candidate Mitt Romney, Obama would save $100,000 in taxes. $100,000. Do you think he cares?
You know, I don't think he cares at all, and I'll tell you why. Because I think the president understands how important it is that we preserve and maintain the middle and working class Americans. And under Mitt Romney's plan, that would not do that. It would basically take us to 8 years. It would take us back to the George W. Bush administration, and that's exactly what we don't want in this country.
I don't even know what that means. I mean, when you think about it, in the United States, for your international audience, the upper 5% pay the vast, vast majority of taxes. The upper 5%, I mean, we can quibble about the details. They pay 90+% of all taxes. The idea that they don't deserve a tax cut. I mean, in the United States, not only do they pay all of the taxes, if you look at this group, but they also support almost all of the entitlements. And then when they want to bail out something like Social Security, who do the Democrats go to? They go back to the top 5%.
Richard is shaking his head, so I want to get Richard in on this. What's wrong with the entitlements program?
Well, there is no problem with the entitlements program. The problem with the entitlement program is that in its current state, it's going to run out of money simply because people aren't paying their fair share in taxes. And what the president's arguing is like for the Buffett rule, and what the Buffett rule will do is saying that all those folks who are millionaires and billionaires would be taxed on all of their income and not just the portion that they make in payroll.
Well, Buffett's a liberal, and that's a whole other issue. But you got to understand something. It's one thing to say to a wealthy person, we're going to force Social Security on you. I mean, they take 8% of your pay every year. We're going to seize this 8% for this welfare program. And then the guy doesn't want it. Most people don't want it. Most people wouldn't want it if given a choice. They'd rather have the 8%. But it's quite another thing to keep coming back to them and saying, not only must you accept the existence of this program, but you must bail it out time and time and time again.
Let me call a time out here. I want to address something that for the international viewers, if they could, they would call into the show and ask you this question. Who's better for global growth?
President Obama, point blank.
Why?
Period. Because what we've seen from the president, we've seen strong foreign policy. The strong foreign policy that Secretary Clinton has put out. On top of that, he's working on stabilizing the globe. He's working with all the G8 partners. He's the best person in the White House right now when it comes to dealing with the G8 partners and working on creating sustainable economic growth.
Jack, why is Mitt Romney better?
Well, first of all, Romney's a businessman, which I think for global growth it's a wonderful thing. I don't think this.
It's almost a dirty word sometimes these days.
Well, I don't think we've ever had it. I'm just thinking back historically. I don't think we've ever had a first-rate businessman in the White House. But I'll tell you something else. When you look at it, when you say global growth, the only thing that really means to me is who can make the U.S. economy stronger. And I think Obama, the only thing he's going to do, now Richard, the argument can be made that we need these things, but the only thing Obama really has done is grow out the welfare state.
That's not true.
All of these things
That's just not true.
All of these things are
I'm going to take a step back.
True.
One of the biggest arguments of last year was the failure of the United States Congress to get to an agreement on basically unsettling the deficit problem, which we're going to approach that deadline once again later on this year. And as the global markets watch this, they see the downgrades by S&P. They've seen the warnings by Moody's. Isn't this a major issue that a lot of Americans aren't talking enough about?
Well, when you say settle it, what Richard wants to do, what the Democrats want to do is just keep raising the debt ceiling, and that's called becoming Italy or Spain.
You want to cut costs.
Well, we got to cut costs. So I mean, I don't care about the downgrade. I don't care if we become AAA, AA. That's not the issue.
You do care about the downgrade.
The issue is getting the debt down.
We do care about we care about the downgrade, not only because
I can tell you China cares about the downgrade.
Of course they're carrying most of the debt that we have in this country. But that's not the point, though, Jack. The point is we've seen across the globe people have rejected austerity. They rejected austerity in France. They rejected austerity in Greece. They're going to end up rejecting austerity.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
No. I'm arguing that that's not how because the people understand that's not how you grow the economy. You grow the economy by empowering the middle class. And under Mitt Romney's plan, there's no empowerment of the middle class.
So in other words, so you think the Italians should grow the debt? You think the Italians and Spanish should grow the debt?
That's not the argument at all. We're saying that austerity measures just don't work. We've seen the austerity measures that were implemented in the United Kingdom put the United Kingdom back into a double-dip recession. That's what we don't need in America. If Mitt Romney gets elected, that's what we get.
Last word here. Bottom line, if you're advising the Romney camp, what would your strategy be against Obama?
My strategy for the Romney camp would be to stay the course.
And if you were advising Obama's camp, what would you say?
I'd focus on the Southwest because I think I expect a very close election in the U.S. I think the American Southwest will determine the election.
I can hear my producer having a laugh. Sarah's having a good one now. Thank you guys very much for this conversation. I have a feeling you guys will be doing a lot more discussing after the show. Coming up, we'll have more world news, including the latest on an international manhunt for a killer. Plus, we'll ask one of the world's best-known investors where he's putting his